Yes, Steve, good afternoon. What is the nature of Chuma's hip injury?
I mean, we're hoping it's just minor, that it's just, he got hit. And it's just, really sore. He tried to do stuff this morning. And I mean, we're hoping it'll be, one night, a couple nights, and nothing that will be, lasting.
Hi, Josh.
Is it an injury that requires an MRI, or has an MRI already been taken?
No.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, we also saw that Mo is questionable for tonight. How is he coming along?
No, good. He's, he went through everything this morning, and he too, it's his hip. He got hit a couple games ago, and then he got hit again the other night. So he has some pain, but he's fine and ready to go.
Go ahead, Dan.
Cliff, we know you guys were focused on reconnecting the defense, so to speak. Just how critical is that, especially against this Milwaukee team?
I know, and our defense the other night was actually very good. It's just, look, to be honest, I can't lie, we have no four-man tonight. So, I mean, we're going to have lineups on the floor where, James has a little bit of a comfort level, but, he'd only played at the 4 for one game. That'll be all his minutes tonight will be at the 4 where, coverages are different than when you're at the 3. And then we're going to have to play, 16 to 18 to 20 minutes tonight with somebody at the 4 who's never played there. So to be honest, this is, one of those things where we're going to have to scramble around here and just, figure it out kind of on the fly, which, this is probably not the team you want to be doing that. It's just, look, it's happened to us a number of times this year. And, like I always tell the guys, the one thing you can do, you can compete your way through that. It just takes great effort, and that's what we have to do.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, who do you have in mind to handle the other backup minutes at the 4?
It's going to be different combinations because none of them we'll just basically play, Josh. What we did was we had done it once last year. We just put in this new offense this morning where they're just all interchangeable, so that it's just a conceptual, real basic offense. And the guys that were here last year, we actually used to run it quite a bit. We do it against teams like Miami that pressure or used to take the ball out of the point guard's hands. So they have somewhat of a comfort level. Obviously, last year we got to the point where we had built on it. So we had reads and counters. And all we have this morning is about 8 minutes of intro. But anyway, to get back to your question, those other guys aren't going to ever be like the 4-man. We're just going to play a totally, that's why, Dan's question is good about organization, but for tonight, it may not look pretty, but, it doesn't mean you can't play well,
Nim, The Athletic.
Hey, Steve. The last 2 years, Bud, and you guys got to see him in the playoffs last year, it was going to be drop coverage. That's what you were going to see just about every single play, every single possession defensively. What have you seen that's different from them this year as they've kind of been more willing to switch things up a little bit?
Yeah, I think that they're switching more. When you flare, they, late switch or veer or whatever you want to call it, blacks, everybody calls it different. I think they do that earlier. They did that actually in the playoffs against Vucevic, they did it last year. I think they're creating more offense also off their defense, looking at the numbers, we had just one day. So, I watched our game from early in the year, and these last couple of games for them, it's different because those guys didn't play. But looking at the numbers, I think I'm right in that also, they're 9th or 10th in steals. Their deflection numbers, I think, are way up. So I think that what he's done, I think he's always done that. He's one of the best guys in the league, offensively and defensively. You always want to keep all the things that work well, which they do and build on. but he also, you can tell the things he doesn't like or the things that weren't as good, he gets rid of it and adds new things. And I would say that's what they've done, just kind of tinkered with it.
You mentioned the deflections a little bit. I know Drew always talks about Dante, and Dante always talks about Drew. What do you think of that kind of combination of guards and kind of the pressure that they're able to put on you night to night?
Oh, no, and I mean, they're unique to me because, so Pat Delaney did this scout for us. It was his scout, and he did a great job this morning because they put pressure on you, obviously at your offensive end with ball pressure, use of hands, like that. But they're also unique, and at the other end, they both go to the offensive glass. Drew Holiday's always, you get a defensive rebound, he's going to try to strip you. He's going to come back and circle back and steal an outlet. And even in this league, those are unique things, that, you deal with every 3 or 4 games, but not every night. And so I think that, again, when in a condensed schedule like this and you don't have 2 days to get ready, those things pop up at you and it's 2 or 3 baskets a game,
Thank you.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, maybe I'm wrong here, but it seems like among fans and journalists, they generally consider Drew Holiday a very good player, but it also seems like the coaches regard him maybe even more highly than that. Can you speak to what the perception of Drew Holiday is among you, your staff, and your colleagues throughout the league?
I mean, it's funny. I was putting some stuff on the board and Gary Harris was in there and we were talking. I mean, I think he's one of the terrific two-way players in our league. I mean, he's always been an elite defender. He can guard multiple positions. And he's one of those guys that, and there's very few of these, actually MCW is another one. He contains the ball and he creates turnovers, both. There's a lot of guys in this league, there always have been, that play the passing lanes or they steal the ball a lot and they also get beat a lot. He doesn't. He can play against the best players and do that. And it's very hard to do. And then at the offensive end, I mean, he's inside, outside. He always has been. He posts. If you have a smaller point guard, he's going to take him in the post. He's shooting 39 from 3. He's easy to play with. And I don't know him at all, but I just know in speaking with JJ, he's supposed to be a phenomenal teammate, and he's a great, great competitor. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you're talking to coaches about who do you not want to see at the other end of the floor, he's going to be one of those guys.
Thank you.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, I know you mentioned James starting at the 4. How will the rest of the starting lineup play out tonight?
Yeah, so we're gonna do MCW at 1, Dwayne at 2. Gary will start tonight at the 3, and James at 4, and Wendell at 5. And we're doing, there's obviously, look, this was one of those, how can we keep enough offense on the floor, with the roster that we have. And for me, he doesn't care, but I just love Terrence coming off the bench and, playing those minutes, and he's so comfortable in that role. So this allows us to do that. And, you always want to try to start the game with as good a defensive lineup as you can. And so I think that's the other part with Gary. I mean, Gary's, he's just getting into rhythm, but he's a terrific defender.
Any final questions? Thank you, everyone.